Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale criticized the former President Uhuru Kenyatta during an event in Eldoret on January 4, 2026, arguing that the former head of state had used language that did not match the dignity expected of a retired leader. Duale remark comes days after Uhuru spoke at the funeral of former Lugari Member of Parliament Cyrus Jirongo in Lugari, where the former president addressed those who had been provoking him in public. During the funeral the previous week, Uhuru made it clear that he did not remain silent simply because he had retired from active politics. He insisted that a retired president did not mean that others should attack him without expecting a response. In his address, Uhuru expressed that he would defend himself when provoked and urged leaders to respect one another, linking mutual respect to the broader goal of building the country. Uhuru avoided naming those individuals during his speech, but emphasized that retirement did not remove his right to speak out when targeted. He pushed back against those suggesting that the retired president should endure public criticism quietly. His message highlighted that although he had stepped aside from state duties, he remained willing to counter any action he viewed as a personal attack. Duale responded to those remarks while attending the 11th graduation ceremony at the Madrasa Hayat School in Eldoret. He attended the event alongside President William Ruto's head Farouk Kibet and the CEO of Moi Teaching and Referral Hospital, Dr. Philip Kirwa. It was there that Duale addressed Uhuru's statement from the funeral and questioned the tone the former president had used. In Eldoret, Duale urged that Uhuru should remain at his Ichwaweri home and refrain from traveling across or around the country in ways he viewed as undermining President Ruto. He stated that words Uhuru used during the funeral were not consistent with how a retired president should communicate in public. Duale pointed out that previous retired leaders, including the late Daniel Torotich Arap Moi and Mike Kibaki, had left office honorably and lived out retirement quietly, which he described as the expected example. Duale also referred his experience in the previous administration, noting that during that period, he believed Uhuru had frustrated Ruto while Ruto was serving as the deputy president. According to Duale, those experiences justify the government's determination not to allow similar tension to occur again, particularly now that Uhuru was out of office. The cabinet secretary further claimed that Uhuru and former vice president Kalonzo Musyoka, who are currently out of the country and are in Nigeria for political engagement, he suggested that the two leaders were involved in political activities outside the country, although he did not expand on the nature of their visits. His remarks form part of the broader message in which he predicted that President Ruto would defeat Uhuru and his allies in the 2027 election, referring Ruto's previous political victory. Duale highlighted that President Ruto had performed better than previous administration and had suggested that the president would therefore retain broader support. He pointed to government development projects across the country, examples of efforts that in his view benefited all regions regardless of their voting in 2022. He cited the construction of roads in Nyanza and central Kenya as evidence that Ruto's govern without bias. The cabinet secretary also emphasized President Ruto's initiatives towards ensuring equity across the country. He contrasted the current administration with the previous governments, which he described that has been biased. Duale claimed that Ruto had made it easier for Muslims to access national identification documents and other official papers, framing this as an important achievement for the community. In his remarks, Duale appealed directly to Muslim voters, urging them that the best way to express gratitude for the president's support was to vote for him in the next general election. He stressed that Muslim citizens appreciate Ruto's leadership and would demonstrate the appreciation during the coming election period. Ruto's aide Farouk Kibet also addressed the gathering and urged former President Uhuru Kenyatta to keep off active politics. He encouraged Kenyans to reject leaders who promote division and instead support those working to unite the country. Farouk commended Duale for supporting President Ruto and praised him for serving the interests of all Kenyans without engaging in tribal politics. According to Farouk, Farouk contrasted Duale with unnamed leaders who he accused of dividing the nation along tribal lines. He described Duale as someone committed to uniting and used his remarks to encourage other leaders to adopt similar approach. According to Farouk, a nation harmony depends on leaders avoiding divisive messages and prioritize the welfare of citizens. Farouk also highlighted the role of the Muslim community in promoting peace and caring for all people. He urged other communities to emulate this example and adopt a similar commitment to the national cohesion.